And welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. Today, I am talking with world traveler, Dr. Amy Novotny. And we're going to be, well, first of all, Amy, thanks for squeezing me into your schedule.
Thank you for having me on, Michael. It's a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, it's going to be really fun. So Amy's been around the world, well, literally. She's been from where she is now in Utah all the way around the world. She went to see if I get this right, Antarctica, photographed emperor penguins, and we might talk a little bit about that. But really what she does is she helps people learn how to reduce stress, anxiety, pain through this method that she's created. And so, Amy, the way I look at things is you help people from that old children's thing, right? Head and shoulders, knees and toes, and everywhere in between. And it's really kind of a cool concept. So I want to dive in deep because obviously business owners have pain because we are stressed and we've got pain in our shoulders or in our back when things aren't working right, or sometimes we break a leg or an arm or whatever it is. And your methodology can work to help us relieve some of that pain, some of that stress, some anxiety. But as we get into all of that, let's start first of all by helping our audience understand, Amy, how in the world did you get to doing this?
Sure. So let me go through that. I'll try to give it a shorter version than the original. I got my doctorate in physical therapy, and I did some work in that for about 5 years. And while I was working with patients and treating them, I realized it wasn't the complete answer. People would get better, but not everyone did. And people in chronic pain saw little improvements, but we weren't really solving their problems. And so once I realized that was an issue and that disturbed me quite a bit, I started looking at other methods and seeing what else is out there. I came across something called the Postural Restoration Institute. They helped me look at things differently because we're asymmetrical on the inside, and that leads to certain patterns of movement. So that kind of got me starting to think of things differently. At the same time, I was also training to qualify for the Boston Marathon, and I was running on a treadmill 3 times a week for 8 miles in 55 minutes. And I had the typical runner's aches and pains. I had to scrape, foam roll, I stretched, I did all the things that I was telling other people to do, but I still wasn't pain-free because I was running a lot all the time. I was like, okay, our bodies are designed to run. I got all straight A's. I graduated top of my class in grad school and all that stuff. I should know everything and I shouldn't be in like this much pain. So I started to experiment with myself, and I started to change how I positioned myself and my breathing mechanics. And when I changed them a certain way, all the pain went away. I literally could get off the treadmill after 8 miles, and it didn't even feel like I had just run 8 miles in 55 minutes. I stopped stretching, I stopped foam rolling, I stopped scraping, all those things that I was telling other people to do, I just stopped doing them. And I realized, wow, like I feel great. My body feels free. And that was a key factor. It's like, I don't feel restricted. I don't feel tight. I don't feel achy. And so then it became, can I reproduce this? And can I figure out what I did and come up with a solution for other people? And that's what it took me several years. I went on this journey to do exactly that. And it was a hard journey because, when you start to do things completely different from what you're trained, you have to get volunteers for that. You can't just go into your practice and say, guess what, I'm going to just start doing this to you completely different and against the prescription from your doctor. You can't really do that. So I would get people that would volunteer, and I would try things on them after I had experimented on myself. And I started to see people get better faster than traditional timeframes. And I slowly put this into a method, which I now call the Paperback method. And during that time period, I became known for what I was doing. People started flying in from around the country to work with me. That's actually how I got to Antarctica. A world famous photographer came in to see me to try to avoid a knee replacement surgery and a rotator cuff repair surgery that he had just had a fall. And so when we're able to get him out of pain for both of those conditions and help him avoid those surgeries, he hired me to coach him on this process for 6 months. So in 2018, I gave up my life and I traveled all the way from the Arctic down to Antarctica, all in 6 months. And I'm a photographer as well. So I jumped at the opportunity and I said, okay, I will just literally disrupt my life and go do this for 6 months.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty spectacular. And then when I came back, I realized that I could help more people if I wasn't just in a small clinic under the guise of physical therapy, because I wasn't doing physical therapy anymore. And I realized that I needed to put this coaching method, this process into work. And that's when I started the business that has led me to where I am today, where now I work with people virtually, through Zoom all over the world.
So you traveled the world and now you help people all around the world. This is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said a lot there. Much of it went over my head because I'm not a medical person, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's just break it down to nuts and
Sure.
bolts. And what is it? Why would somebody even start thinking about? All right, let's do it. PABR, PABR. The PABR
Yes.
method stands for what?
Yes. So it stands for pain, awareness, breathing, relief.
Okay. And so your contention is that through proper body posture and a right breathing method, you're able to help people relieve stress, lower, reduce, get rid of pain, things of that, and possibly even potentially avoid surgeries and things. Is that what I heard?
Yes. So
wow.
we're actually, what we're truly doing, we have a nervous system in our body that either ramps us up or calms us down. So you may have heard of the term fight or flight mode.
Fight or flight. Just came to my mind. It's like, help.
Yeah. So fight or flight mode versus rest, relaxation, digestion. So we kind of have these opposing nervous systems and we fluctuate. Ideally, we should be in rest, digest, relaxation mode most of our waking and sleeping hours, and then spike into fight or flight mode and then come back down. Well, our society is not like that. We're typically ramped up quite a bit of the day. And many people have insomnia and issues sleeping because they're so ramped up and they can't calm down. So when your body is in that nervous system state where you're ramped up, it starts to affect the way that you breathe. It affects the way that you hold yourself. It affects the way that your muscles work, and it affects your many states and organ systems in your body. So what we're doing is teaching your position of your body to not be in fight or flight mode, so that you can learn how to get your position in a relaxation mode, so that the way you breathe is also in a relaxation mode. So when you do this process, it calms you down. So the muscle tightness that you have as a result of your stressors goes away. When the muscles calm down and relax, they release your bones and joints. The bones and joints go back into a neutral position, normal position. They stop pinching on tissues and your pain starts to go away. And it literally can go away. And this is how you get people like this photographer who was supposed to have a knee replacement. He has bone and bone for 30 or 40 years, chronic pain every single day. We calmed down his nervous system by changing how he held himself and how he breathed. And he could sense the muscles relax. It stopped pulling him in an abnormal position. His pain went away. He didn't have to have surgery.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Because the picture was coming to me as you're sitting there is, if I'm bone on bone every day, when I first wake up, guess what? I'm going to become tense because I know as soon as I step out of bed, I'm going to have pain. So I'm already tense and I start breathing in a certain way. And then I'm going, and what you're saying is if you can change certain things, a lot of it reminded me of what I read years ago with like Tony Robbins and things with neuro-linguistic programming and how just moving the eye or moving the mind or moving the body can have all these effects, because the body's an amazing thing. I mean, God made the body pretty crazy. And what we don't do is in our culture, we like to have a pill. Can you just give me a pill for that, please?
Yes, we like that.
What we have to realize is you don't need pills many times. What you need is to align your body with the way God made it, and learn posture and breathing, and believe that it actually can happen, because everything you said made sense. If I relax and breathe right, and things release, it's like, oh, that's crazy. So
yes. And let me tell you something a little bit. So you've used the word posture a couple times, and I've used the word position. And I'm going to talk about the difference. So when a lot of people use the word posture, they immediately stick their chest out, pull their shoulders back, and suck up their gut.
Yep.
That is one of the worst things you can do when you're in chronic pain. And it will increase your pain, because when you go into that Superman posture, you're actually activating the fight or flight nervous system in your back, and it's going to ramp you up and cause more pain, because it's going to change your breathing mechanics. It's going to put you on high alert mode. It's going to put you on edge, and that increases the chronic pain. So what I say instead is we have to work on your position, because it's the position of your rib cage. It's not just when you're standing or sitting. It's when you're lying down, lying on your side, lying on your stomach, on your hands and knees, when you're squatting. It's how do you position the rib cage, because that affects your whole entire body, and it affects your nervous system. And it also changes the way you breathe. So I say position instead of posture, because people already have this idea of what posture should be. And it's a lot more than posture. It's how you position your rib cage. And so I just wanted to make that distinction, because I didn't want people to start to stick their chest out and pull their shoulders back and start breathing, because then it's going to make themselves worse. I don't want that to happen.
That lady was full of hooey, or she didn't know that. No, that's good.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly why. No, and thanks for doing that, because everything talks about, we all think about position, but if it's posture, and the posture of the rib cage specifically, right? And that's why we need people like you to go, okay, help me understand this, because this is not something that you created like last week, right? You've got years in this, and helping people with a variety of pain. So this could help somebody from a low level, let's say a stress that's in the shoulder area, right? Because they're on the computer all day, every day, and they're like, from that all the way to, like, bone on bone, avoid knee surgery, back, spine, whatever. It doesn't really matter.
No, it's all the same thing. The nervous system affects all of your body parts. And every person individually has a typical pattern of guarding themselves and holding themselves in a protective state. So whether it's a mental stressor, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, or physical stressor, you and me, we each individually have our own reaction to that. And so that typically leads to someone having, maybe you mentioned like right shoulder pain, or maybe for me, it's left shoulder pain, or low back pain, or toe pain, because I grip my feet on the ground, and that's how I hold my stress. But any of those patterns, you can learn how to get your rib cage position back into the correct position that you were designed to be in. That changes your breathing mechanics. And then what happens is you start to be able to sense your nervous system behaving differently in your muscles. So the nervous system calms down, and you can start to feel your muscles release. That's why I don't stretch. So if I feel so tight, I know I'm just ramped up, or my position is off. So I correct both of those, and I can feel the muscle release, so I don't even have to stretch.
Wow. Could you get that all the way to, like, I don't have to exercise anymore? Could you get me there?
I know a lot of people would love that. They'd sign up, wouldn't they?
Yeah, big time. All right. So this is fascinating. So, and how did you stumble across this whole thing?
This was literally when I was running on the treadmill, and I started experimenting on myself. And I got myself out of pain within seconds. And I've done this many times in the middle of 150-mile races where I had pain, and I changed my position and my breathing, and the pain goes away. So I didn't know at the time when I first stumbled on this what exactly was happening, but I've done a lot of research and studying to figure out the whole mechanics behind all this. So that way I can then test it on myself and other people and other clients. And I've done this on thousands of people now.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you work with people all over the world because
Yes.
you speak 3 languages, right?
Mhm.
Spanish and
Yes.
French and English. That's
Yes.
amazing in and of itself.
Mhm.
She's also a marathoner, so if you like to run marathons, you need to chat with her because she can help you probably run them better, faster, stronger, like the $6 million man. But it sounds like you've got this unique approach, the PABR method.
Yeah.
And again, let me see if I get it. Pain,
Mhm.
awareness, breathing, and relief.
Yes.
So you have pain. I'm
Mhm.
aware of my pain. I reposition. No, is that the right word?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Reposition.
reposition my lungs.
You're repositioning your rib cage and
Rib
your
cage.
body. So you're aware, the awareness part of it is you're becoming aware of your nervous system,
Okay.
how your body is being held, how you can sense muscles or not sense muscles. So what's working and what's not working. Then you're using that awareness plus the breathing mechanics to find relief, whether it's physical relief, mental relief, emotional relief, spiritual, intellectual, whatever that relief looks like for you. So,
wow,
yeah.
It's crazy because when I'm just sitting here listening to all this. But what is it? What happens when you go to a doctor or something, and you're stressed? What do they always say? Take a deep breath. Just, and that's in a sense, right? Similar. What you're trying, it's like, okay, no, let's get aligned. And the older I get, the more I read about the body and the internal mechanisms and all that. They all work together. It's crazy.
They
You'd
do.
think there was a designer or something. Gosh.
I know.
I
know.
Okay, so this is really kind of cool. How do people find out more information? Do you do one-on-one? Do you do groups? Do you do online? How do people get help from you?
Sure. Yes. So they can go to my website. It's paberinstitute.com, PABR Institute.com. And I work with people one-on-one on Zoom. That's one way to work with me. And that's, for an hour and a half once a week. We do packages of 6 sessions. The other way people can work with me is I do have online group classes. So that way you can, in very small groups, we go through the process. We try to tailor it to you a little bit, but there is a process that we're going through. One-on-one is more custom, so that we're addressing your body needs and your goals very specifically. The group is going to be a little bit more generalized. And then right now I'm working on some video courses, and those will soon be launched. And that will be for people who just want to do something on their own, and they can just follow through with the courses just by watching the videos and practicing and going through that. So we'll be doing that as well.
Very cool. Yeah. And when they go to your website, one of the first things I saw, which I thought was very intriguing, is a penguin.
Yes.
Tell us about the penguin, and then we can go back to your website.
Sure. So because I was able to take this process all the way down to Antarctica and I photographed the emperor penguins, I fell in love with just what they stood for. They live in the harshest conditions in the world, and they stand for strength against adversity. They stand for rebirth. And so that's kind of the values that I'm working through to help people feel like they can actually change their body, have a transformation under their own control, despite all the adversity that they're facing in their life.
That's cool. So you'll go there, check out the penguins, but really check out PABerinstitute.com, PABR, PABR, pain awareness, breathing, and relief. Yes. And check out what Dr. Amy's doing there, because it seems to me like a really cool way to, forgive me, avoid medicine and stuff, perhaps, but also find healing and get rid of some of that stress that probably all of us carry, right? Yeah. Remove some pain. And I assume when all that happens, we are in a much better state to do whatever we're going to do, whether that's run a marathon or run a business or serve our family or whatever that is. So you don't have to stay in pain. Right. There's a way to escape that's drug-free. How about that? So reach out to Amy. It's PABR, PABR, PABerinstitute.com. It's going to be in the show notes and everything. But check out what she's doing. Reach out to her. See if there's some help that she might be able to give you. And you can live a pain-free life and learn this methodology that would impact you and probably dozens of people that you know. So Amy, thank you for being here. Thank you for figuring this out, discovering this, doing the research, being your own guinea pig, so that you could figure this thing out and help lots of people. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on, Michael. What a pleasure.
You are welcome. Have a phenomenal day.